Hari Om, Jai Gurudev. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudiraye. Om Jai Gurudev. This is almost like doing a mantra snan. This knowledge itself is so very uplifting and purifying. Who Bhagavan is, the sixfold virtues. Let's share our takeaways.
We are fine-tuning everything. Sieving, you know. Ultimately, it's really wonderful.
So Bhagavan, the six attributes of Bhagavan are the one who has absolute, everything in absolute, the six attributes in absolute measure. The one who has all knowledge, starts with all knowledge, total dispassion, capacity to create, sustain and dissolve, absolute fame, yashas, all wealth, Shri, and overlordship, Aishwarya. So this is the Ishvara that we as Karma Yogis have to accept. And only then is the Karma Yoga actually possible. You have to accept that there is some power that is total knowledge, has all knowledge, has total vairagya.
This you read this sloka already? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. Okay.
Yeah, I read the shloka as well.
So much.
Bhagaha asya asti iti Bhagavan Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasah shriyaha jnana vairagya yoshchaiva shannam bhaga iti rana.
Okay. Which page is this one? This
is, I think, page 24.
24. Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you. Yeah, that you know, that answers all the questions that we had before. Remember, like the other day, I think Mrinal was asking why, how he's thinking and all these things. Like here, it's absolute in creating, sustaining, as well as dissolving or all beings. That comes under that.
And when you look at him as having absolute fame,
Yeah.
then there's no way your ego will come up and say, oh, I have done this. You attribute everything to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a karma
So-
yogi, for instance, a person who's not a karma yogi will continue to have that damba and the ahankara and all that. But
Mhm.
everything is his vibhuti. It is.
Yeah, today only we did that, right? Vibhuti yoga.
Mm,
It was really nice.
yesterday, yeah, I know. Yesterday was vibhuti yoga. So everything is him. So our manifestation and that little I that props up is part of the whole. So when you look at him in totality, it tends to dissolve your small mind, that ego.
Yeah, from this we understand that that's only one Bhagavan, that is for sure. Like even when you think about Krishna, it's really nice, So whenever you remember that one of the things that he would take um, avatar when there's adharmas going on, and so he's whatever avatar we're talking about is all this Bhagavan is taking it.
But ultimately, you are that.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but but then again, this Bhagavan is one, always doing all of that. It's so like that Vishwarupa that the next chapter is coming up for probably for you guys be today, but for me like tomorrow. So that's what that is.
As we see how the introduction has started off, it starts off with a human life. And Swamiji talks of how it's not just physical maturity, but emotional maturity. This is in our realm of understanding, isn't it? That we are born, that we are ignorant, that we are seeking pleasure, that we are seeking security. And then he comes on to saying that what are you seeking? Because you are the problem. That you lack is the problem. And that you are the solution because you don't lack anything. You are everything. And that ignorance has to be removed. And for that ignorance, you need words as a praman. You need a means of knowledge. Because it is not an
Eyes,
object.
eyes,
Huh?
like an eyes,
Like
like
the
an
eye.
eye.
It is not an object for you to see outside of you.
Yeah. He's kind of giving that example, I think, about that you open your eye, then can I see it? That the example that came up, right? One
Your
surgery
voice
guy
is
that,
fading out, Dr. Mara.
yeah, I think our internet is kind of breaking here. No, that for example, there's one you read about the person who had the eye surgery. That probably what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like you, if someone says, okay, prove to me that
Mm.
Vedas are the pramana,
Mhm.
how can you prove? Your validation itself is the proof. When you experience what the Vedas say, that itself is the proof. It is like the person who's undergone that surgery and he's asking the doctor, I will open my eyes only if you prove that my eyes will be able to see. So us questioning the Vedas as a pramana is like that. You first prove to me that the Vedas will reveal myself, and then I will believe in the Veda. If that is what we say, it is as foolish as this man asking the doctor, you first prove to me my eyes will be able to see, and then I will open my eyes. Are you have to open your eyes to get the proof.
It is
It's
just
that
like
Shraddha, having Shraddha in
Yeah,
that,
that is
in
where
that,
the Shraddha
yeah,
comes.
the same thing, when you are going through any of this procedure, you got to have faith or some kind of a, not blind belief, but you go with that attitude that you're going to get better and
no, it is
it's
just
going to
like
help you and all that kind of stuff, So
no, it is
go
just
ahead,
like
Miss.
it is just like I'm describing a laddu.
Here, I want to mention one thing: for any growth, any kind of growth in our life, unless until we are open and ready to have that Shraddha and somewhere little bit at least, then only we can move on forward. Otherwise, already experienced things again and again, if you, because you can't trust anybody and you don't have that Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam has a so much in-depth meaning. Unless until we are open to ourselves and to the knowledge, nothing can go inside. Jai Gurudev.
And the breathing.
Sorry, Dr. Brahmana, you were summarizing it. Go ahead and finish what you were doing. That was really nice where you recapping the whole thing,
Yeah, because I
it's
was
really nice. Yeah, that's really good to recap. Yeah.
so we are seeking, actually, we're seeking freedom from insecurity. Whereas we're not understanding that we are secure, we are total inside. And this revelation, because it is not something outside of me, I am the problem, I am also the solution. Because it cannot be an object of your perception. It's not like you see the sky or you see an orange or an apple. It is something that you are. So for that, in order for you to reveal that, you require a means of knowledge. And like he said earlier, there are specific means of knowledge, like only eyes can only see color. For instance, if someone is shouting, screaming, and your ears are blocked or you're deaf, you can only see the movement of the lips, but you cannot hear. So there is a pramana for there's a means of knowledge for anything specific outside of the world. But here, the so to say, object of knowledge here is myself, is me. And therefore, you need the mind in order to to experience this knowledge. It is only through the mind. And for that you require, he comes also to the fact that it is only knowledge that the wrong notion that I'm insecure, that I lack, that wrong understanding is what has to be removed, and that requires knowledge. And it is only through knowledge that you can uncover that wrong notion. And for that you require a means of knowledge. And that means of knowledge is words. Only words can be. Now that link again, I know I had the same doubt earlier also, how words become the means of knowledge. Because it's only Shabda. That train of thought because he gives an example of what our eyes see does not necessarily mean it is the truth. The example given was the sun rising and setting. That is what we see with our eyes. We see the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. But when you go to the North Pole, you realize that it's not the sun that is moving. The sun remains where it is. So there is a higher means of knowledge. With your intellect, you understand that it's not the sun that is moving, it is the earth revolving around the sun. And the earth rotating on its axis, that you're able to see this. So this knowledge, the self-knowledge, is way beyond even the intellectual inferences that we can gather. So that requires a means of knowledge, and that is words. Where is that? Yeah, so he says, you cannot get liberation by just removing thoughts. That will not take you to liberation. It will only keep you in that ignorant state. So knowledge ultimately is required. He gives examples of that stumbling upon, the serendipity. All that requires some prior knowledge. So knowledge alone can dispel ignorance, and knowledge cannot take place without a means of knowledge. Even knowledge that is picked up accidentally, like the knowledge of penicillin, for example. So now how does he, derive at the means of knowledge? For knowledge to take place, you have to recognize the situation, and this recognition is what is meant by knowledge. But the self can never be stumbled upon, even if you remove all your thoughts, as some people maintain. Which self will you stumble upon? Who is it that is stumbling, and what is it that is being stumbled upon? If you are ignorant of yourself and remove all the thoughts you previously had, what will you be? You will still be ignorant without thoughts. Then, if you conclude that you are enlightened because you have removed all thoughts, the conclusion will be a thoughtless conclusion. So that is not what we are looking at. Thoughts need not be eliminated. This you must know, the enlightened mind is not brought about by the elimination of thoughts. Knowledge always comes because of an appropriate means of knowledge. There is no way of altering knowledge, and there is no replacement for a means of knowledge. Therefore, what can be known by a given means of knowledge can be known only by that means of knowledge. There is no accommodation here. If you have to see a color, what accommodation can be there? Only the eyes will see. Your nose certainly will not. There is no other means of knowing color except the eyes. This is our anubhava also, right? So, because I cannot stumble upon myself, will I not remain ignorant in spite of anything I might do? And if so, might one not ask, is it not enough just to be a devotee? Why should I study all these books? Why should I have this knowledge? As a devotee, will I not gain moksha when I die? You may think that because of your devotion, you will go to heaven and sit with God. However, you will still be ignorant. And how long will it be before you become bored and come back and want to come back? On the other hand, the reward for all your prayers offered either in this life or previous lives is stumbling upon the means of knowledge for knowing the Atma, or even understanding what a means of knowledge is. This is all stated in the Vedas. So, for instance, all of us here, the reward, maybe we've done some punya before, and therefore we have stumbled upon this means of knowledge, of even getting to know what the Atma is, and even trying to understand what a means of knowledge is. So what is the means of knowledge to know the self then? We have seen that it has to be other than perception and inference, and therefore can only be external means, words. This is where I have kind of stopped here. So he is arriving at the fact that this means of knowledge has to be other than perception and inference, and therefore can only be external means, words. For facts that I cannot know by perception and inference, words, shabda, can be a means of knowledge.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There we can infer that Shruti is important. That is so. From Shruti only we got the knowledge. See, the Shabda.
Yeah, that's basically what they're saying is that Sabda is, it is revealed to the saints or seers who over there. It's not like it was somebody made it up. That's what I understood.
Paurusheya. They are a Paurusheya. There's no author for the Vedas, no?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was revealed to them. I mean, in my thinking, you remember how that the Shiva, then they start with that. I don't know if you know that story, like the Sapta Rishis, they're waiting for Shiva to open the eyes. He was wondering who this person is, and that's how it came. That then the people were doing it only by saying those that the changing that information from that guru to Shishya like that. So that's how it came on. So there are people who challenge this, right? Who wrote the Veda, right? Like, because there is no ownership here. Um, so they think, people don't believe in Vedas, then they say so many different things. But now we have that Shraddha that we have to believe that this knowledge, this is the proper thinking, whatever it is there, and it is a good knowledge that we take that and go along with it, right? I mean, that's what the Shraddha is like. So one is that it's revealed knowledge, and then the acceptance of Vedas as a pramana, what is meant by Shraddha. So that's that when we accept it, we are accepting it with Shraddha.
Yeah.
Also, I think here emphasis is on the Shravanam part, I think, because it all starts with Shravana, right? You're listening.
Right. The Sabda, right? Like,
Yeah, so the words are falling on your ears. Look, you have to put in effort and do the karma, or I don't know what is the right word, like to be a part of this jnana yajna. Say you have come all the way. Now the words falling on your ears and all is happening, right? So that part is something maybe we don't realize it. We might be thinking we have come here, we are sitting, we are listening, but that listening is just a happening. You have come here, yes, that is your purushartha. You came, sat here. Now the words falling on you, your ears, and you deriving meaning out of it is all happening. That's a divine force that takes over, right? So Shravanam is very important in this whole jnana marga. Without that, nothing can happen. Even for you to do manana, nididhyasana, the Shravana is the most important.
Agree.
That is what is Om, the Shabda. So the whole world has come from this Om, they say, no? That is what is the Shabda. And in one of the knowledge sessions of Guruji, we heard that the last sense of before the death is only the hearing. That is the last sense it goes. First eyes may go and all many other things, but the hearing goes at the end. So that is
with the with the knowledge of Tattva Bodh, Shabda is something that is that is related to space. And space is one of the first Mahabhutas that is formed, that's created. So probably Shabda, and therefore Om, like what Sureshji said. Pranava is supposed to be the closest representative to Brahman, the one that represents Brahman. So maybe that is the link. That is, it is not something to do with sight. It's not something to do with any of the other senses. It is to do with words. It is to do with Shabda. Because that is closest to the space element, which is again the closest to the closest that we can liken Ishvara to, that being all pervading and the first Mahabhuta to form. So
Actually, in Tanmatras, it is said.
Mahabhuta
No?
means hello.
yes,
I think
Sarvati, you wanted to say something?
Actually, when Nanaji was explaining Tanmatras, it is the power behind the organs, no? Whatever sense organs we have, hearing and all that. So that Tanmatras is actually the energy which is effortlessly doing its work. We are not doing anything. It is just जैसे कहते हैं ना कि कान के पर्दों पे गिर रहा है और हमें सुनाई दे रहा है, तो वो अपने आप ग्रास्प हो रहा है.
I think foetus, when birth takes up, the first is the heartbeat we hear. I think so. I think that is the first sense it comes. I don't know. It's all many things. And the last sense is the hearing only.
So all those words are the Vedas. They are with us, meaning that they are with humanity. We refer to them as revealed and look upon them as a means of knowledge for truths that can be neither inferred nor perceived. So, 1 minute, I'll just read the footnote there. This acceptance of the Veda as a pramana is what is meant by Shraddha. Pratyakshenanu va yastu payona buddhyate etam vidanti vedena tasmat vedasya vedata. People know through the Vedas that which cannot be known through perception or inference. Therefore, the Vedas are a means of knowledge.
This is a good this one for Vedas.
And
Definition of
also,
Vedas.
yeah, also we read that in Vedas only says which is not known, right? Not known rather than what is known.
Correct. What is adrishta is what is revealed.
Right.
The results
So,
of your action and here or hereafter, the punya and the papa, all that. What about heaven? All
yeah.
that is not known to us.
Yeah, even if it's 90% that karma kanda, right? That 10% of the this Vedanta is still nothing is known stuff. It's all not known stuff in there. So I don't know all of that, but at least to make sense out of what we read, So obviously it's not anything by perception or inference.
See, by perception, it is like you're seeing, you're perceiving with your 5 senses.
Yeah, the senses, right.
That
And
is
the inference
pratyaksha.
the inference is like, the smoke. If you
Correct.
see the smoke, there is a fire.
There is fire.
So, yeah, it's not
And that
something
is
you
intelligence.
can make out of that.
Correct.
So it is not to the perception. That this is kind of, nice to know about that.
Yeah. Even Patanjali says, no, there are 5 pramanas, isn't it? 5 or 3 pramanas? There
Five.
are 5.
Pratyaksha, Anuman, Praman.
What is
Pratyaksha.
Pratyaksha, Anumana. Agama is one of them. What are the other 2? I think there are 3 pramanas.
See,
Not
there are
5.
3. 5 modulations of the mind and
Mind.
Three pramanas. So
Yes.
one is Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Agama. Agama
Agama.
is Veda.
Written scriptures is Agama.
No, I don't think their Agama is written. Because see, Shruti is something that is not written. It is not
Correct.
it's only revealed. No. So Agama, the meaning of Agama is, I think, synonymous with Veda. I don't know the exact meaning of Agama, but it is certainly not written. Written is comes under the Smriti.
The Smriti, yeah. Mhm. What
Shruti
is
is
Pratyaksha? We read this, what we see, or the known. Oh, Pratyaksha. Pratyak.
Anumana means like if you see somewhere
Infinite.
smoke is coming up, you can Anuman, you can imagine ki okay, there must be fire somewhere. That is why the smoke is coming. That is the second one, Anumana. And the third one is this Shruti Smriti wala. Both it will be included.
Yeah.
Because gospel truth, something Gurudev has given the example, no? If it previously 100 years back, if something is written, if it comes in the newspaper, that means it's the ultimate truth. Like that people used to think 100 years back. Now everything is different. So yeah, both Shruti Smriti, both will be included in Agama, I think so. Or exactly the meaning of the Agama, we need to verify with someone.
Yeah, see, because even in the ashram, it is called Veda Agama. Veda Agama Samstha it is. So the Veda is different and Agama is different, I guess. I'm not sure where what if anybody knows the difference, would be good to get. Because in the ashram also there is the Agama tradition and the Veda tradition. I am honestly not sure. I don't want to say something which I don't know. So maybe we should go back and understand what it is, or come back and ask Nana what it is.
Other day we read something. This was
Let me just check.
Anadhigata, like the Pratyaksha, Anumana, Artapati, Upamana, Anupalapalati.
Anupalabdhi.
Yeah, we read it when we were doing that ontological association and all that stuff. It was in the 18th chapter.
The Agama, this is only from the internet, okay? The
No,
term literally means tradition or that which has come down. And the Agamas are a collection of several tantric literature and scriptures of Hindu schools. The term literally means tradition or that which has come down. And the Agama texts describe cosmology, epistemology, philosophical doctrines, precepts on meditation and practices, 4 kinds of yoga, mantras, temple construction, deity worship, and ways to attain 6-fold desires. These canonical texts are in Tamil, Sanskrit. Agamas are predominant in South India, but Sanskritized later. The 3 main branches of Agama texts are Shaiva, Vaishnava, and Shakta. The Agamic traditions are sometimes called Tantrism, although the term Tantra is usually used specifically to refer to Shakta Agamas. The Agama literature is voluminous and includes 28 Shaiva Agamas, 64 Shakta Agamas, also called Tantras, and 108 Vaishnava Agamas, also called Pancharatra Samhitas, and numerous Agamas. The origin and chronology of Agamas is unclear. Some are Vedic and others non-Vedic. Agama traditions include yoga and self-realization concepts. Some include Kundalini yoga, asceticism, and philosophies ranging from Dvaita, dualism, to Advaita. Some suggest that these are post-Vedic texts, others as pre-Vedic compositions dating back to
Raji, the screen is not moving.
No, I'm reading from my mobile.
Okay. We can hear that. Yeah. Then.
Suggests that Agama texts were in existence by about the middle of the first millennium in the Pallava dynasty. Scholars note that some passages in the Hindu Agama text appear to repudiate the authority of the Vedas, while other passages assert that their precepts reveal the true spirit of the Vedas. The Agama's literary genre may also be found in Shramanic traditions, that is the Buddhist and Jaina. Bali Hindu tradition is officially called Agama Hindu Dharma in Indonesia. So basically, I think Agama is something that has come after. It is not completely Veda, but it might reflect
It
Veda.
is, I am seeing in the Patanjali, scriptural testimony. Agama means scriptural testimony. It is testimony given by scriptures. Whatever. So all whatever the yoga, that, this, everything will come into this.
Whereas, yeah, that's fine. And whereas the Vedas, this is again according to the internet, the Vedas are a large body of religious texts originating in ancient India, composed in Vedic Sanskrit. The texts constitute the oldest layer of Sanskrit literature and the oldest scriptures of Hinduism. There are 4 basic Vedas. So, basically, whether it is Veda or Agama, it is beyond perception and inference. So, therefore, Vedas are a means of knowledge. And they give the example of the Putra Kameshti Yaga, wherein you've made every possible effort, and there is actually no hindrance to you getting a child, but then you still don't get a child. So that means there is some unseen factor, and that you do a specific prayer, not a broad spectrum prayer, a specific prayer to remove that whatever obstacle or to get that adrishta phala. And this gives you the gift of the child. And all this is stated in the Veda. Because this ritual and its result is given by the Veda, you accept it, along with all the other statements made therein. So the spheres covered in the Veda are only those that are not available for perception and inference. So this is what we need to understand. It will not tell you 2 + 2 = 4, because that is what we can see and we know and understand. Veda is something that will tell you 1 + 5 = 1. Things that we don't understand with our normal functioning mind. The first portion of the Veda deals with various rituals, that is the Karma Kanda. 90% of it is Karma Kanda, talks of Punya, Papa, it's called the Purva Bhaga. Whereas the end portion deals with certain facts about the nature of the self that cannot be stumbled upon by any other means of knowledge at our disposal. This is called the Jnana Kanda or the Vedanta or the Uttara Bhaga.
That's basically all the Upanishads and
all the Upanishads, right?
Does it include the Brahma Sutras also in that? I don't know. I thought it is. Yeah, here it says in the Upanishad collectively called Vedanta. Okay, it's only Upanishads, looks like.
It is only Upanishads.
Yeah.
Upanishads are the summary of the Vedanta.
No, Upanishad, they are like, how many? 13 or something like that?
Yeah.
108 Upanishads. Of them, about 10 are important. There are more than, I think, 108 Upanishads, if I'm not mistaken. But of them, There are 10 that are popularly studied and known.
So today, what Nana was saying about the contemplation. So I'm wondering, we could at least choose one topic or one, thing that we could contemplate on and, to progress that way.
Hmm.
We are doing the
So
same thing daily. That is what is contemplation. We are doing it.
Yeah, but the way, even the sloka, I don't know, it was a sloka, like Nana said something about Sri Rama Prayartham. I didn't write it up, the whole thing. Was it, what did he say about that one, about Rama?
Today or yesterday? He said,
Yesterday,
Rama
yeah.
Prityartham. See,
Uh,
we say Rama Prityartham, Rama Raksha Stotram Aham Patishye. It is not for Rama's pleasure or for Rama's sake that I am chanting the shloka.
Chanting the Rama Sastra. Okay, okay.
The intent is me that I'm doing.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thanks.
It says
Yeah.
the glow of Rama in your heart will make you a loved one, something like that. Prityartham. It is not, we are doing not for his Prityartham. It is only we become the loved one.
Right. Like today, we read something about you're not loving your husband, your love for your own, you're loving him for your own sake, that to love you or something like that.
Sarvam priyam bhavati.
Yeah, that was yeah, that we read that yesterday also, that Atmanasu. This Maitreyi person comes so often that Nana's mentioning. Is she one of those sage wife, right?
Yajnavalkya's wife. He says this in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad.
Yeah.
He is answering Maitreyi. I don't know the context. Nana actually told us the context sometime back. But he said,
is it Brihu Munivar? Is it Brihu Muni?
Yajnavalkya. Yajnavalkya.
Okay.
He tells her, you love me because you love yourself.
Yeah.
So basically, when you look at that, there is nothing selfless that we do. Everything we do is actually
Everything. Yeah. Go ahead.
selfish. Since you are, see, you
There's
want
a
to be happy because
sentence.
that will make you happy.
Exactly. Yeah. So that we read like the prayer for your own sake, right? So like everything we are doing it for our own sake only. So we are not doing it for, saying that you're doing it for your family and children and all this. Basically, like the other example you're giving, you want to be happy. You can only be happy if others are happy around you. So that's why even when you're unhappy, you want to make sure
You
that,
look for your own, your own
happiness.
security. No, your own security, not your happiness.
No, that the happy and security is the two things, right? Yeah, basically that they're talking about the tennis player, how that she subdue herself. Yeah. So those were like nice take home points today.
That tennis one was very good. You start with love and then you fight.
Beat to the
For
core,
yourself.
right? Right.
You start with love and you fight for yourself. Very good.
And see that it also ended. See, supposing, and there can be only one winner, right? So when the winner he's so elated, he puts his jump, he throws his racket up and he's such an elated mood. But when he comes to the net to console the opponent who has lost, there is that little decrease in his joy because he feels the pain that the loser has, isn't it? It is not the same intensity of happiness he had when he threw the racket up. When he comes,
Exactly.
he feels the pain that the loser is feeling, and therefore there is that little decrease.
You've been in that place that you realize, what that other person is going through. So, yeah, those were the good points. And then there was another, that question I had about, we did this yesterday. I lack nothing. But then today, the topic when it came, that is about the ignorance.
Because you don't lack anything. The fact is, you do not lack.
You are covered.
You are full.
You are enveloped by the ignorance. You don't lack anything.
That's true.
It is,
but
you are covered by ignorance, and once ignorance goes, you are there.
Yeah. So until that's where we are looking for the security and this happiness, right? That because we're thinking that we are ignorant. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I wanted to clarify today. So that's good.
Maybe it is like becoming and being.
Huh? It is like that old lady searching for that lost needle outside in the street lamp, under the street lamp, when she's actually lost that needle in the house. So we are using artha, kama, and all of that seemingly outwardly pursuits, not seemingly outwardly pursuits, in order to fulfill something that we think we lack. But in fact, we are born free. We are full. We are like that bhaga. We have all the 6 attributes, but we are not able to. We have that false notion there. We have to remove
this perception and the inference. We are not going to gain the knowledge. So obviously, that's what that is, right? Like that, only the means of knowledge. So the ignorance can be. I'm not sure somebody's.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Mara.
Just trying to say something, or okay. No, basically what that I thought that the perception and inference is not the means of knowledge, and so this Veda is a pramana, the means of knowledge for clearing this ignorance. So to realize yourself is not like you said, externally, when we are looking for those things, it's not going to happen.
Because see, self-knowledge is a peculiar knowledge in that it is not knowledge of an object. It is knowledge of myself, for which the means of knowledge is the last portion of the Veda. I'm reading from the text. Okay? Any statement that reveals the truth of oneself, the nature of oneself, with all fallacies removed, is Vedanta, whether it is in Sanskrit or some other language. Although the literal meaning of word Vedanta is the end of the Veda, the word Veda itself means a body of knowledge. This body of knowledge is available for humanity. All that one has to do is make use of it. So this is the Apaurusheya Pramana. How did this knowledge come about? We can say that it has come about by revelation. But to do so requires a certain understanding of the word revelation. Anyone can say, I had a revelation yesterday. And he gives that example of God coming in the dreams. And he says, but one person can say, God said, and he came in my dream, and he says, I never come in my dream. So that is subject to questioning. The statement that the entire Veda and hence Vedanta is a revealed knowledge is not an immature statement. The entire Veda is a body of knowledge that was not authored by any person. It was revealed to the rishis directly. That is why the rishis are not the authors of the Veda. They are the seers of the mantras. Mantra drashtaraha. And not mantra kartaraha. Therefore, the Vedas are considered to be apaurusheya, not born of human intellect. They are considered to be a pramana because they reveal something that is not available to us through perception or inference, be it in the knowledge of various ends and means in the Karma Kanda or the knowledge of the self in the end portion of the Vedas. Thus, my definition of Vedanta is that it is a means of knowledge, a pramana in the form of words. The sphere of this means of knowledge is you. It talks about you.
In all this time in our life, we were talking about everything else, right? I mean, this
Yeah.
is the only time it's all about you.
Me time. It's
Right?
actually quality me time. All of this.
Yeah. And then, yeah, me and mine is also gone. It's just that all about you. It's amazing. When can you believe it? All these Vedas all talk about only that one individual.
Yeah.
You know, when you try it scientifically, like all this medical school knowledge that we have, we can say all this is happening through this nervous system, circulation, and whatnot, right? I mean, at the same time, wherever this we read about all this, what is called Stula Sarira and this Sushma Sarira and Karna Sarira and all that. I mean, it has its own, knowledge. I mean, you can compare it with that, but then again, there is no explanation about the Atma in that whole setup, right? I mean, I was thinking about it yesterday. Okay, when we pronounce death in all these patients whose heart and lungs stopped, breathing stopped, heart stopped, and then you write a reason for it. But then what happens? Like, what happened to this Atma? We not really thought about that at all, that's that kind of felt to me, like there's knowledge above that knowledge. You don't know anything when it comes down to that knowledge. It's amazing.
That is why they say, no,
Yeah.
the end of science, spirituality is where science ends. Spirituality begins.
Sorry, I missed it. Sorry, I missed it. Say that again.
No. Spirituality starts where science ends. Because science can go only thus far. You cannot go beyond with science. Whereas,
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing, like there was another WhatsApp message. Now they call it a ecto life. Now they are making these babies like as if in the uterus growing outside. And it came in one of the messages in our my old med school group, and then the comment was actually somebody like us, talking about, this is not new. This happened in Mahabharata where Gandhari, um, how she couldn't deliver she didn't want to have the baby or something like that. And, it came out, right, prematurely. And so they grew the baby in 100 different vessels, even those days in Mahabharata time. Oh, so something like that, it's amazing how this thing is coming back again. Some of the signs. We think, oh, it is only drama, but it's not really.
Yeah.
For that Veda definition itself is beyond perception and inference.
Beyond perception and inference.
And
The
inference.
word revelation.
Revelation.
So the first step we have to do towards self-knowledge is accepting Vedanta as a revealed means of knowledge. So that is the first step. There itself, if we have doubts and we, oh, how is it, this and that, no. That is where we have Shraddha, complete Shraddha, that the Vedanta is the means of knowledge. That is it, period. No questions asked. We should not have any doubts there. How do we know that Vedanta is a means of knowledge? What is the proof? Is there a proof for a means of knowledge? If Vedanta is a means of knowledge for the self, it requires neither inferential nor perceptual proof. All that is required is that it should not contradict what you know inferentially or perceptually. And that is where he gives the example of that eyesight by the blind person who undergoes surgery. Vedanta cannot be disproved as a means of knowledge, and it requires no proof other than self-validation. Your experience itself, that is, Anubhava itself, will validate Vedanta as a pramana. So that it is like that blind person who's asking the doctor, you prove that I will see, then I will open my eyes. Unless you open your eyes, how will you? And therefore, we need to use Vedanta as a means of knowledge with that Shraddha. Use it like those eyes. And unless we open our eyes to Vedanta, we will not be able to see our true nature. So that is the Shraddha required. This is good.
Yeah, like just we are
I like
talking
that
about this.
I like
Go
the
ahead.
sentence that is Vedanta is end of the knowledge. No, it is the end. Wonderful. It is the end. Vedanta is not end of the knowledge. It is the end. That is what it is.
It is that moksha is the end, right? I mean, did they say this one also?
Vedanta
Right?
reveals that.
Yeah.
Vedanta reveals it, therefore it is the end.
Yeah. So I'll just complete this and then we'll wind up. Vedanta says that you are the solution to your problem and that there is no other solution. You have already tried to resolve the problem in a number of different ways. Vedanta does not promise anything. It does not say you will become the solution. It says you are the solution. To become the solution implies a certain commitment and investment, meaning that you may or may not find it, since every becoming is fraught with uncertainty. In the Vedic vision of reality, everything that is known and unknown is Brahman, and that Brahman you are, Tattvamasi. Gaining this vision, one finds oneself free from all the limitations imposed upon oneself due to ignorance and error. So it only shows us the way. It does not, it tells us you are the solution. You will not become the solution. You are the solution. It only uncovers that veil of ignorance. And therefore, we have two committed lifestyles. That is Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga. Pravritti is where you do all your actions, that includes religious and non-religious, secular and non-religious and religious activity. Nivritti Marga is where you take the form of, take the course of renunciation. And yeah, believer, non-believer, we've seen this Vaidika Dharma. All those that believe in Vedas are called Vaidikas. And because they accept Vedas Pramana, they're also called Astikas, believers. So believer does not necessarily mean that he takes God as a person. So he need not be religious. A Vaidika who is an Astika need not believe God as a person. And the example given was Kapila, who did the Sankhya Shastra.
Yeah, the Astika Nastika is only in terms of the Veda, right?
Correct.
It's not
Correct.
about the God.
Not about God.
Yeah.
Because an Astika can also be religious, like the Buddhists and the Jains.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in English, atheist and theist have two different meanings. Atheist is
Yeah,
one who does not believe in God.
Right. Yeah, that we couldn't mix up with the Astikas
We should
and
not
Nastikas.
mix up Nastika as atheist and Astika as atheist. No.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So that is it. So I think we'll stop here. Just one thing is, the reason why Nana's encouraging us and inspiring us to chant the Bhagavad Gita is, like he so beautifully said, as you keep chanting it and you chant it with the correct intonations and pronunciation, initially it is like you're just chanting it, but by and by you take on the role of Arjuna when he's asking, and then you also take on the role of Bhagwan as he is explaining. And that is a beautiful experience. No?
Yeah,
And
Hariom,
It
that
is,
is
yeah. Mhm.
today's takeaway. I consider it as Nanaji's blessings for all of us. And
Yeah.
that is my biggest takeaway for today. That was so very beautiful.
that
No, that is what it reveals yourself when you start doing it.
mm,
That was also takeaway from me. I asked him personally whether it is mantra and all that.
it is the Brahma.
See,
He said it's like power. It's a
power,
power
yes.
of, power of that. It gives that Shakti, right, to realize yourself. So hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, we should just keep at it. We should be committed to that.
He told you will become Krishna also.
Yeah, I mean, he says this with this experience,
It's,
having chanted it not 1 day, 2 days, not 1 month, 2 months, for 20 years. And he's been doing that day in and day out, and not just one chapter like we are doing. We're okay, we're just beginners now. But he does all the 18 chapters. And plus with the meaning, just imagine what a depth of, it becomes such a nididhyasana thing for him. Very meditative and very contemplative.
Yeah. So I'm understanding the whole sloka itself takes time, right? Like yesterday, like I have one question. Maybe I thought of putting it in, I forgot. Where we read that Bhagavan, he is into he produces the objects, and then he also um, sustains it, but not in it, right? He's not in the objects. But then the other sloka that said, he is in the object also. So then I put, my book is somewhere else.
Talking of the 10th chapter,
Yes,
right?
I also got
Not the
that
10th
doubt.
chapter, that is in 9th chapter.
I am
Raj-
in everything, but not in it.
Hmm.
He
Yeah.
says, and I am in it, and it is a contradictory statement. Yes, I also
There
had
was
that
a
doubt.
yada something, there was I made a note of it, and then when we were talking about it, something else. I just maybe I'll put it in the question today, tomorrow for that. Nana.
You can put it up as a question
Sure. Yeah.
in the WhatsApp group maybe, and then let's ask Nana tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Okay.
I
You
had
know,
that doubt. I had that doubt also. Madam, it will be very helpful for me.
Thank you, Suji. I read it. As I said, I'm reading along with the slokas, but sometimes I don't have. I wouldn't say to time wise. Like we have to finish up, and so I'm not doing it for every sloka. I should. That's nice. Thank you.
So we'll stop here. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
धन्यवाद
Jai
ब्रह्म
Gurudev.
देव।